And now it's time for the big intro from D.
Hey! That's all I got.
It's Tea and Fish. I'll have another. Hopefully your face, head, and neck is doing well. Today we're going to talk about, today children, D made
Get
Fish
your
read
whoopee.
D made Fish read a book. You know, it's funny. I've had a lot of changes and I've been going through stuff in my life like everybody does.
Changes.
Oh my God.
Changes.
Oh my God. You know that girl that I do the show with for our full-time gig?
Yeah.
That's a professional singer.
Yeah.
Don't ever tell her I said this, but you should let her maybe sing this up. But there's this book, and you were talking about it, and you said, Fish, you need to read this book.
Yeah, I used to have a copy of it. It's called You Are a Badass, and I gave it away. I think I gave it to my friend Johanna.
Oh, I love her.
I do too. So I actually had to get the audio version of this.
Okay.
To refresh, because it's been about 3 years or so.
So, okay, I could talk about this for hours. But if you are listening to a book of audio, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say it's Moby Dick. And I read Moby Dick. I haven't, but let's say I did. And I'm like, oh my God, I read Moby Dick. It was such a great book. And you would say what?
I listened to it.
Okay. I have friends that say, oh, I read that too. Oh, really? And my friend is actually the one that sings, Elizabeth Mary. And she's like, oh, no, Fish, I read that book. I listened to it. I listened to it on my way to a gig.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you didn't read it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, I just say, like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I read that. I'll be like, well, actually, I listened to it.
Okay.
I always do that caveat.
So because that's a thing, right?
Listening to books?
No, I think that's going to catch up.
I think it's a way of the future, actually.
I was reading this book, and I know that you were listening to it, and I literally was like, God, I wish I could voice books. And I was like, oh, and then I thought about you and I voicing books together.
Yeah. Shit no one would listen to.
Yeah, that would be the name of the book. Shit no one would listen to. Okay, so this book is You're a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life.
Yeah.
I threw it up on my socials that I was reading it, like a picture of it, so it looked like I was smart. And people went crazy with it.
Yeah, they love it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a great book.
So has this been around for a long time?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
4 million copies sold.
Over a decade or so, yeah.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
So this bendy girl that went to India and lived life off the grid is probably 37 instead of 27 now.
Yes.
She is actually...
Gray pubes.
I do imagine that with you. She is an amazing writer.
Yeah.
She is a life coach. She is one of those, it's like the quote, the book, The Secret, right? She just went for it and ran.
Yeah.
Like she was like, this is my goal. This is a little bit too hippie for me, but the book is 95% perfect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it focuses on a lot of the same stuff that the other books that we've talked about focus on. Gratitude. Yeah,
she actually sourced one of your books, the 4 Agreements.
Oh, yeah, dude.
She said it's a good short based on the wisdom passed down from the author's Toltec ancestors. I probably said that wrong.
Toltec.
Yep. Basically, it talks about the 4 things that you need to do to live an awesome life. That was her description of it.
Pew.
You need to go from wanting to change your life into deciding to change your life.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so...
Got to make the step, bro.
Wanting can be... you looking at me? Wanting can be done sitting on the couch with a bong in your hand and a travel magazine, according to her.
Yeah.
Deciding means jumping in, doing whatever it takes.
Yeah, totally.
Is that a great way to phrase up this book? This was at the very beginning of it.
Yeah. I think that pretty much that's the start of it all for sure. You're not going to get anywhere by just thinking about what you want to do.
You can't lose weight while you're sitting on your couch. You got to go on the treadmill or run or something, right?
Right. You got to take the first big step. Yeah. But a lot of it is people won't make the move because of their self-limiting talk, and their self-limiting beliefs.
Like, what do you mean by that? Is it like a religious thing, or do you think people are just
they're like, well, I can't do that because
that's
X, Y, Z.
Yep. Yep. I do that.
I can't, I think she uses this example in the book too. Like, I can't start my own business, quit my job because I have, I have insurance to think about. I have this to think about, blah, 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 blah.
She does use this. Yeah. She had a friend that did it, or a client.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that where those are limiting beliefs where you kind of have to, you have to believe that you can do it and you have to just shut up and do it.
She talked a lot about subconscious in it too. Your subconscious took this as face value, like money equals struggle. Money is unavailable.
Yeah.
It's money's fault. Money sucks and causes pain. It's not my fault. It's money's fault.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to push beyond that.
Right.
And grasp it. And I'm reading this book where, again, Dee was like, Fish, you need to read this book. Have you read the book? Have you started the book? We're doing the book in 3 days. How's the book? Like, yeah, did you want me to do that for the podcast, or were you like, bro, you need this book?
I was wondering what you're going to think about it, because like a lot of it talks about your self-talk and how, love yourself and all that. And it does get, some of it is kind of hippy-dippy.
Well, it's a little religious to it. The G word is chapter 2, right?
Yeah, sure.
Which is God. Yeah.
But a lot of the books are going to focus on that, are going to focus on how you talk to yourself and what you say to yourself, because your brain doesn't know the difference. That's what's so messed up about it. It's just like, like your brain can't separate a fear that you have and something actually happening either. That's why people have anxiety.
Okay.
So, and like a trick my therapist taught me was like, you can put a separator in there that actually helps your brain separate a fear from what is actually happening.
What do you mean,
so
like separator?
So like, instead of being like, oh my God, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if, whatever? What if I get in a car accident? What if da-da-da-da-da, right? So you start having those thoughts, and that's what gives you anxiety, and you get real anxious about it. But if you stop and you're like, I am having a thought that it would be scary if I got in a car accident, that's enough separation in your brain where it doesn't.
She does talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like you have to kind of trick yourself into not going down those same pathways and having those same thoughts. And you're, a lot, depending on your age, you're undoing decades of
destruction.
Right.
I mean,
that
really.
We didn't even know you were doing. You didn't even know it was wrong to think that way or whatever. It was just how you always thought.
So I wrote that's a question mark. It might look like a squiggle. Mm-hmm. But I wrote this next because fortunately I just highlighted the hell out of this book. So you need to raise your frequency to match the vibration of the one you want to tune into. What the hell? Yeah. Like what is that? And she dove into it a little bit, but I'm like, you want to raise your gain?
Frequency. So sitting around and bumming about all the stuff you don't have is going to keep you bumming and not having things. But if you switch that mindset and you're like, okay, well, what do I have? I have a couch to sit on and be miserable. Yeah. And I'm thankful for this couch. And, it's great to be here. And it's great to be under this magical roof that I have. And I have a house that I'm warm in. And all of a sudden your frequency shifts.
So you and I have had a lot of stuff happen in our life because we're so old.
Very old.
So very old. But you've had a relationship that was a little tumultuous. I think we all have in our life, right? But did you take time after that relationship to get to where you are now and how awesome your stuff is now?
Yeah.
With the things you have going on, did you take time to relax and sit on the couch and be like, I'm sad, my life sucks, woe is me? Or did you say, I need to use my separator?
Yeah.
Or for you, I need to use my separator.
I did not spend time in the woe is me phase.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if it's because you're women. I don't know if it's women or people.
I have a real hard time being a victim.
Yeah, you have a hard time when I'm telling you stuff and I'm a victim. You're a great friend and you're a great listener, but when I'm telling you stuff, you're just like, I can see it. You're awesome and I love you, but I can see it.
Yeah. Because you're powerless. If you're taking the victim stance, then that makes you powerless.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
And I don't like that. I would rather be in a place of power because you are in a place of power. I mean, you have the power to do so many things in your life.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well, I'm reading this book and I'm literally thinking about my full-time job.
Yeah.
Right, which is the Fish with Friends thing. And then I'm thinking about you and I.
Right.
And I'm reading this book and I'm thinking about our boss.
Right.
And how he is such a great, I'm sure he's read it or whatever.
I'm sure, yeah.
He's such a great multitasker at doing all the different things. He fills his cup. And I'm like, but my cup isn't even really 3/4 full. So come on, man, we can do this pot. I'm like, keep reading the book, Fish. Because about halfway through, I'm like, I just read it. I wanted to read it in a day. I needed for my brain and for what I was going through to read it in a day.
Yeah.
And plow through it. I just needed that.
Yeah.
And about page 189 because it's only like 240 pages. The book, again, is You're a Badass. Or You Are a Badass. About page like 180, I think I was like, okay, it's like 5:30, so I'm going to pour a little bourbon.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh my God. This is like, I'm like, seriously, like, it's about respecting yourself instead of catering to your insecure need to be liked.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, and like, I highlighted that because I've never seen a more descriptive sentence of who I am.
Yeah, for sure.
I am the biggest people pleaser, and you are as well, but you have limits.
Oh, yeah, I got over that.
Yeah. How'd you get over that?
It took a long time.
To get over being a people pleaser?
Yeah, but I tell you.
But you'll still sit with me at lunch for over an hour.
That's different. That's different.
Family. I'm your heterosexual friend.
That's different. People pleasing is different than that. And stopping people pleasing gets really rewarding really quickly because saying no to people, the reward is almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you're so used to saying yes and spreading yourself thin and sacrificing the things that you want to do because you're trying to please other people. And then it's like when you say no and then you're able to do the stuff that you want to do, that's an instant reward. You're instantly rewarded. And you're like, I'm glad I said no to that motherfucker.
But like, so
you know what I mean? Like,
so when you look at Jen, her name is Jen Sincero, Sincero. She's Italian. She's got an Italian father, divorced parents, 2 siblings. Proof that I read the damn book. Mm-hmm. I think it's Sincero.
She says it a few times in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're listening to it, so you probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need. I do like this. Who do I need to be for the situation not to bother me? Using the above scenario, she goes. Can I let this one go? By becoming aware of what we do, we can investigate why we do it and then change to keep it or drop it instead of blindly reacting through habit. Mm-hmm. All right. What does that mean to you?
Oh, yeah. Is that where she talks about, is that the whole thing about you can either be right or be happy?
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. I do this every fucking day of my life.
With your friend Johnny that you play with every morning? Okay, why?
Because he's wrong 90% of our arguments.
Okay.
That we have on air. And he will die on his wrong hill. and I know I am right. I 100% know I am right. Confirmed.
Because of facts? You've confirmed it?
Yep. The listeners will be texting in. They're like, he's a fucking idiot. Uh-huh. The messages will be coming in. Yep. I know I am right. But I will not win that argument with him. So I'll just be like, okay, dude.
Like, you gotta let it go. Whatever, bro.
You just got to cut it loose.
Okay.
And that's that man was sent to me as an exercise in patience. I swear to God.
Yeah, but he's your guy, man. He's a good, he's a classic.
But yeah, and that's a big one. You can either be right or you can be happy.
Because I think about situations. I had an old air partner named Connie who's passed, and I think about with her, there were times when I knew she was wrong. Yeah. Like there were times when I had proof in writing where I knew she was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And she was very much like Johnny.
Oh,
maybe because their names rhyme, maybe because that's who they are, maybe because they're whatever.
Right.
But she was very much like that. And I would just shut up and take it. But that problem is, though, if you do that long enough,
right,
I think you build up resentment. Now, I think that you build up a resentment. And then I start thinking you're like, I mean, this happened with exes currently and ex-wife as well. Like, I just would not let it die.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you're wrong.
Right.
We're fighting about something. Well, and they tell you this is the way you feel.
Right.
That's not the way I feel.
Right.
I feel a different way.
Right.
That's not accurate. That's not my feelings. But you make me feel like you feel that way. I'm sorry I do. But why am I apologizing for the way I make you feel? So how do we take that?
Right.
When we're saying you're a badass, the book, like how do we take that and fix that?
Right. Well, that's a whole lot to unpack right there, buddy.
Was that too much?
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack.
All right.
I think that's more than this book can handle.
You cut yourself. I'll move on. You cut yourself. I'm like, hey, man, I tried insurance. They make me wait 3 months for the therapist. I told you that. Like, son of a man, and I found a good one. You cut yourself off from the supply of awesomeness when you're not in a state of gratitude.
Yeah.
All right. So what? You have to have gratitude about everything around you?
It's hard. It's really hard. When I was driving around that goddamn Mini Cooper.
So you hit a deer. So hit a deer.
Yeah.
She hit a deer.
It was straight on eye contact.
I'm sorry.
that fucking bitch.
You were 77 miles an hour.
Yeah. And I was like, man.
Oh, God.
So I was driving on the interstate, 77 miles an hour. And it's so weird because it's like, it feels like it takes 10 seconds, but it's not. It's like a half a second. And I saw them walking up and I was like, I can't brake in time. I can hit my brakes, but I can't brake in time. And I was like, I just got to hope they stop. They don't walk all the way over. And they didn't. They kept walking. And I knew I was going to hit her. And I put my coffee in my drink holder. And
Can you see it still like in slow motion in your brain? Yep.
And I made eye contact with that thing before it crumpled underneath my vehicle. And anyway, and then I get back to the station and my company is nice enough to let me drive a company vehicle, but they give me the Mini Cooper. Now, I am not a Mini Cooper kind of person. I
would like to clarify that this is a no judgment zone. This is like Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
But you and I are, like my
not a small person.
Ex-brother-in-law had a Mini Cooper. They are not designed for people with shoulders.
Right.
There you go.
And I'm breasts. Whatever. I'm 5'8".
Yep.
So kind of tall, and I have a lot of stuff. I'm an equestrian.
Yeah, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, it's literally I'll have another was a racehorse.
Yeah.
That is actually related to Dee's horse. That's episode 1.
So oftentimes I have horse feed I have to get. Yeah. And it's wintertime, so I have blankets. They're bulky. I have tack. I have bulky things. My lady friend lives far away from me, so I have overnight bags. I have, and the Mini Cooper does not have room. So I was like miserable driving in this Mini Cooper, but I was like, I am so grateful to be here.
and to have a car.
Right. As I was simultaneously pissy about being in the Mini Cooper. It was weird.
I had a moment when you were going through this, and thank God for our company that you and I work at the same company. Thank God for our company that they loaned you this car, because I was like, God, I'm going to have to loan her one of my cars.
Yeah. It was brutal. I'm
like, I'm what a jerk friend. I have a little stupid, I'm old and I don't have kids, the convertible. It was rear wheel drive. It wouldn't have worked for you. But we went and you got this, you hit this deer and I was like, okay. First thing I think I said to you, I said, are you all right? And you said your neck hurts. And then I said, what was the gender?
Right.
Which I loved because I knew it would make you laugh because I'm an idiot. And then I was like, let's go clean out your car. Yeah. And fortunately you have the friend that hooked you up with a stereo, Paul, and like all this stuff. And so we went and did all this. But now you're in a car. You're okay. So is that the gratitude thing? You didn't have gratitude?
Yeah. Well,
or
no.
You fought to have it?
No. Yeah. I had to make sure I kept that intact that whole time I was driving.
Because you were very
cranky
Cooper. Those few weeks.
I was very cranky. Mm-hmm. Because it just sucks not having your own vehicle and your own space and whatever else.
Yeah.
But the constantly. Okay. Well, I lived through it, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
My insurance company paid me more money than the car is worth. I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like there's a lot of stuff to be grateful for. And then it was weird because I was like, holy crap, the way everything worked out, I saw the benefits of gratitude right with the way everything worked out.
Yep. I 100% understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Because you saw it happen too.
With you or with me?
With what I went through with the car thing.
Oh yeah, I saw it all happen in front of you, and it worked out great because you got a great car. And you were, I still think you should have bought a truck, but I just don't have a concept of money.
Yeah.
Like I do, it's not like I have a ton of money. I don't at all. But I just wanted you to have what's best for you. I literally told you, if I had millions of dollars, you'd come to work and there'd be a truck sitting there. Like I just would.
A couple of years from now, I'll get it.
Yeah. Well, for me.
No.
But I think about it and I'm not going to go too far down a rabbit hole, and I don't want to be depressing because we're talking about a book, You're a Badass, but my mother passed away years ago.
Yeah.
I did this show called Connie and Fish. We broke up for a while, and before my mother died, I got to tell her that Connie and I were going to get back on the air together in Michigan, 1.5 hours from my father's, their home. They were married over 50 years, 1.5 hours away from their home, so I could check on my dad.
Yeah.
When I got back with my friend Connie said, I want to do this with you until I retire. And I was like, done. and she would end up getting cancer because we started together. She would end up getting cancer and passing away. So like, if you don't believe in it, and I don't want to get overly religious or anything. There is something.
Yeah.
Like there is, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know whatever you believe in. I think more power to you as long as you're a good person. But again, this is a quote. Nobody gets to the top of the mountain without falling on his or her face over and over again.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And that's what you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only failure is quitting. Everything else is just gathering information.
Yeah.
Fred Smith wrote a paper while at Yale about his big idea for an overnight delivery service. He got a C. He went on to create FedEx.
Right.
You clearly have recently just heard that part of the book.
Yeah.
I found it fascinating. I knew about Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, a high school dropout, was rejected from film school 3 times.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison, that was a questionable one because didn't he steal the idea for the light bulb, or is that somebody else?
Well, him and Tesla had similar.
Yeah, similar designs or something like that. Okay, so you have to be willing to fall down, get up, look stupid, cry, laugh, make a mess, clean it up, and not stop until you get there no matter what.
Yeah.
That's a quote from her.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's brilliant or annoying that she finishes? And again, we're talking about, and I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry, Jen Sincero, the author of You're a Badass. Why does she end everything with love yourself? Is that just the psychology?
Because you have to. You will not do, because like nothing will happen until you love yourself.
Okay. So how do you love yourself?
I'm still worried. This is the hardest part of all of it.
Because you and I really both struggle with our weight and other stuff.
Yeah.
You have to, because you have to. Your relationship is legit.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
You got that going for you.
Yeah. That took me a long time. I was the self-deprecation and all that. You know,
there's a whole chapter on that.
Yeah.
Literally one of our boss's favorite things about your air partner.
Right.
And me.
Right.
Is that he and I don't have the egos on the radio. And we don't mind being self-deprecating and looking stupid.
Right.
And she's like, why are you going for the cheap funny?
Right.
And I'm like, no.
Right.
Like you're making me change the way I do my job in my brain.
Right.
So why is that such a bad thing?
In moderation, I think it's fine. But it's when you're really taking it personally. Johnny Danger doesn't go home and think bad thoughts about himself. He goes home and he flexes in the mirror and he's the hottest dude to ever walk the earth.
He's like,
he's God's gift to radio.
You don't think he has moments of low self-esteem?
I don't think so.
Well, I bet. I think we all do. Or maybe just me. 'Cause I go home. People think I'm a giant. People think I'm a narcissist sometimes. They think I'm an ego.
Yeah.
I probably have the smallest ego. And yeah, like I go home and I'm like, God, I'm fat. I'm going to go eat Snickers and think about why I'm so fat.
See? And that's
the not making a change. Right.
Right. And that's because you've already told your brain that that's where you're at.
So how do you shut off self-deprecation? Like what's something you do?
You have to you have to stop, and you really have to be cognizant about how you're talking to yourself. What is your inner monologue? How are you talking to yourself? Are you being negative to yourself? The thing that really helped me change around was to just, when you're thinking about your inner monologue, talk to yourself like you would the 5-year-old version of you.
Is that in the book or is that?
I don't know if that's in the book or not.
I've heard that, actually. I think that might be. I heard that. I love that. Maybe
because
that
you wouldn't say those mean things to a kid.
Yeah.
On most days.
Most kids. Unless they leave their dog shit in your yard.
Right.
Pisses me off.
I mean, some kids are assholes. But,
yeah. That'd be a great name for a book.
Yeah. So, and that was the one that really helped me turn it around. I still have days that are harder than others. But again, you have to give yourself grace. You're trying to undo decades of programming.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
I recently heard, I was watching this therapist on, because, clearly based on about 15 minutes ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I need a couple. But I recently was reading something from a therapist about relationships and breakups. And when it was like a TikTok, believe it or not, but it was a long one. And she swears a lot, but you got to take the person off the pedestal, put them in front of you, and say, would you be friends with them?
Right.
Like based on that behaviors that you've seen or whatever, would you still be friends with them? And I think some of the reason that you don't have the issues that you've had in the past with self-deprecation is your person.
Yeah.
Because it is who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
When I'm with someone that says, and it's not an ego stroke. I think it's a positive thing in a relationship. When I'm with someone that says you're amazing and you're doing a great job, or, hey, this really bothers me that you do this. Can we maybe come up with a compromise instead of pound.
Yeah.
I respond differently.
Right. For sure.
I mean, I don't know if I've gotten off the tail of the book here, but what I'm saying is, like, I think that if you want to be a badass, you got to surround yourself with badasses.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's in the book too. That is in the book about surrounding yourself with people. You might find yourself being around different kinds of folks. You can't.
Did you just say folks?
Yeah, different kind of folks.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, because you're not gonna do better for yourself, and you're not gonna find a higher frequency if you're around people that are bitching all the time and not doing anything for themselves.
There you go. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
True. Yeah,
like that's because then it gets.
Energy needs to flow or else it stagnates.
Yeah.
Is that what that means? I'm trying to use her words with your words. I highlighted so much. I could have done 6 episodes on this instead of 1.
But you're right. And then that is kind of, she talks about affirmations in there too. But it's kind of like when you have a person that is constantly like telling you that you're good. Yeah. You know, and like reminding you of the good things about you. It's kind of like an affirmation. Right?
I had a quote that I recently I was talking about, and I won't go into detail because what's the point? But like, there was a quote that I used to read all the time that really motivated me and got me going. Yeah. Every day, and I had to let go of the quote, and you would have think that I was like I'd lost my parents again or something.
Right.
Like, it was weird.
Yeah.
But like, so what's one of the things that you do? That don't you love when we do these podcasts and I just interview you? But because I think you're brilliant and I love you. Thanks. And I think that you're incredible. You know, if you weren't gay and you were straight, you would be into boys. Quit thinking you'd be with me. But honestly, I just do, and I just think the world of you. So, what's something that you could put out to somebody? Like I gave the pedestal nug, I guess, but what's something you could put out to somebody that would really help them in that situation?
Which situation?
Like where we are with the, like, you know, making yourself feel better, less self-deprecation. Oh yeah. Like you're fat, you're ugly, your hair's balding, you smell funny, you have all these things about yourself. You don't like your children because they're assholes. Your spouse is a jerk. You took him off the pedestal and you wanted to hit him with a baseball bat. Right. Please don't hit your spouse with a bat. Yeah.
Well, there's nowhere to go but forward. You know what I mean?
Okay. So how do you start to move forward? What's something maybe you did in your past where it helped you move forward? That's a big question, isn't it?
That is a big question.
Your eyes just got really big. But like, is there something you did where you went, you know what? I'm going to, like, Connie's a great example. My friend that passed away. She was like, I have too many negative people in my life. And she deleted half of her friendship pool. Yeah. Like, is that good? Is that?
Yeah, I put some friendships on pause or kind of backed away from some for sure.
I've been paused before too. And I was like, whoa, that's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, you got to preserve your energy. And I think especially like when you're starting to like kind of rebuild and you're like, okay, I'm kind of fragile right now because you're trying to reshift that mindset. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard time, and it's a struggle because you're reconditioning yourself. You know, you're changing how you think about the entire world. For Christ's sake,
it's like trying to lose weight or start working out and get on a schedule. You know,
right? So
does it take 8 days to break a habit and like 2 months to form one or something like that? I don't know.
But it's also not. It's once you get into the magic of it all, it's really rewarding, and it's not that hard to keep going. Like the benefits are pretty quick. Once you start getting into practicing gratitude and just shifting how you look at things, it's truly perspective. Like so much of life, is perspective.
It's so hard though to watch that because you sound like Jen, the author. I'm just going to say her first name now. It's Sincero. Yeah, right. But you sound like Jen. Because she's like, I didn't have a place to live. And all of a sudden I'm in Tokyo and I found a place for a month and I rented it and then she's a procrastinator. She had a 6-month spread to write this book that I was reading. She had a month left to write it. And she's like, I didn't have a place to live. And then all of a sudden, 12 minutes before I was going to go there, whatever, it wasn't 12 minutes, I found a place. I couldn't live my life like that. I would have a fucking heart attack and die.
Right.
So like some people, I don't think we're all conditioned. I think she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think the chapter in the book about money, when she dug into money, was a little, I had taken a break and I was looking at my socials. And I had posted a picture of the book and they were like, the money chapter's weird. And so I was kind of went in with a negative feeling anyway.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was a little network marketing vibe, but whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's
Take what you want, leave what you don't.
Again, we're talking about You Are a Badass, a self-help book for people who just desperately want to improve their lives, but don't want to get busted doing it. That's a quote from the back of the thing.
Yeah.
It's a #1 New York Times bestseller. So, I mean, my God, she clearly, is pretty smart. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I liked it a lot.
The only failure is quitting. Everything else is just gathering information. Mm-hmm. You agree?
Totally. You got to try the things, and again, like when you're sitting on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, oh, thank God I didn't try to do that business.
Yeah.
Thank God I stayed in the same stagnant job and the relationship with the bitch I hated.
I mean, sometimes you got to take a gamble. It's like a relationship. I mean, I don't want to get a divorce because of the kids. I get it. I get it. But are the kids benefiting? Every time I've done that topic on the air, every single person has been like, I wish my parents got divorced.
Right.
I can't think of one. Again, deciding is freedom, indecision is torture. I know we have limited time here. I could go all night long on this stuff. I use so much highlighting. And,
I know.
I mean, look, then I waited. But then the money chapter was like, this was her thing. Money is the currency. I don't know. I think it's a great book. I thank you for getting me to read it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just remember, Dee, your faith in the universe must be strong. Oh my God, it's like Darth Vader. Well, she is a Star Wars nerd, by the way, so I know you love her for that. Your faith in the universe must be stronger than your fear of not getting what you want.
Right.
Use the Force.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, you want to go maybe have another?
Yeah, let's do it.